Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to another edition of APAC Dialogue. We have with us today as our guest Mr. Joseph Sudheer Reddy Thumma. He's a CEO of Magellanic Cloud, and he will take us through some of the developments regarding drone and electronic surveillance manufacturing and the market, and how the that sector, the dynamics are happening, and what sort of roadmap ahead. Before we start, just briefly, APAC News Network, we are a media organization headquartered out of Noida in India with a pan India presence, and we focus on technology deployment across different sectors, including the government, healthcare, BFSI, manufacturing, education, and the likes overall. So, my first question to Joseph would be one, if you can take us through one, your roles and responsibilities, and also briefly take the viewers and audience through the genesis of Magellanic Cloud and how things came about briefly. Over to you, Joseph.
Sure. Thank Rajneesh for having me on the call for the APAC News Network. So, as a Magellanic Cloud, we have always been in the technology and driving the technology factors that can be given and to the business way to change the way that operationally how effectively that's all we care about or we wanted to adhere to. So that being said, we at Magellanic Cloud has grown from the last few years, I would say, being well set as a growth path and trajectory. We started off with just sending or giving staffing augmentation in the technology space, and whatever we do, we put forward as a quality. That is the forte. From the last 4 or 5 years, we have exponentially grown. Why the inorganic acquisition, and then taking that organically to the next level and stage that can sustain the growth and the path. So that's the area of trying to move the Magellanic Cloud. So Magellanic Cloud, we have three predominant segments wherein we do a supply of technology staffing resources or take a project of offshore development or hands-on development at their client side or whatsoever. That is one. We call it as uh, the regular software services sector. Then the second one is the e-surveillance, which using the technology of platform, we were able to solve the security concerns or issues pertaining to any banking or other sectors in warehouses and other areas. And the third sector, which is the foremost sector that is looking forward for a huge growth potential, is the drone industry, where we have gone and did initially part of the services, but we have now manufacturing establishment and able to manufacture, get it towards either the government army side of it or the commercial space, where we wanted to focus predominantly in the two areas. Cargo logistics, where we can supply from anywhere from 5 kg to 100 kg payloads for a distance. That is one area. And the second area is the agriculture sector, which is what government is promoting and was able to establish or support a lot from that kinds of space. So that is the two areas of. So the overall the segments are three, and the drone we are focusing on the manufacturing as well as the services. In manufacturing, those are the two areas that we are predominantly at this point of time ahead of the game overall.
Okay, thanks. So, what I'd like to understand better is the three LBUs that you are talking about: the software services, the e-surveillance, and the drone. One, from a business perspective, what would be the approximate contribution of each to the business? And two, more importantly, coming to each, let's now first complete the first part, the software services. So, within the software services part, what are the areas or domains that you offer some of these services or solutions, and what sort of clients you work with in the software services segment?
Yeah, software services segment, we predominantly, I started off with four pillars, I would say, and then grew this to another couple of more other services. So when I've acquired, I was given the QA, quality assurance engineering team, that as one of the pillar, and then the full scale development of end to end in a application side of it, which could be a Java, .NET, or web-based applications. So that is the second kind of thing. And the data engineering and data practice, data analytics or business intelligence was one of the practice that we used to have. That is the third segment, and the mobile development apps and whatsoever. These are the four areas that we started off with, and predominantly focused much onto it. Then we have expanded to two other areas that are key, that we assumed will be the areas. So one of them is like DevOps, the entire automation of ecosystem, from a development standpoint of view to testing cycles, be it on the cloud, be it on different sets of cloud platforms, automations, and be able to give it a push to the production with the ease of it, rather than iterative way of handling it. That was one of the area which is contributing a large chunk of it. And then within the data engineering, we have expanded towards artificial intelligence, machine learning, with different types of it. It could be a neural network or NLP based, textual based, chat GPT or GPT, or generative AI kind of areas, to computer vision based models that we could create in those areas. So we can try to come up with the different types of solutioning for different businesses. So these are the two areas that we have expanded. And the third other area that we have expanded is to provide enterprise security services. So a lot of small companies needs a SOC 2 compliance and application that needs to go through the security. So overall, from the business perspective, we are generating overall, out of 450 crores, 250 crores is being generated, 250 to 300 crores is being generated from the software segment itself, out of all the three segments. So be it either providing people resources in these technology stacks, or be it taking up the projects and delivering the projects under these critical areas of technology.
If you can elaborate a little more on one, the verticals that you are working in some of these projects, especially the two new areas that you mentioned, and what sort of use cases are happening in some of these marquee cases.
So the other, you're saying the other two segments where we are exploring, right? Or
No,
is it
I am talking
the
now in the software services only. One, I am mentioning in the software services, one, which are the verticals that you are primarily delivering the solutions that you mentioned. and some of those use cases, especially you mentioned within software services, the two new domains that are also there. We'll come to the other two segments later.
Yes, sure. So the predominant segments that I have been giving you development of the future, where we are going is the DevOps. So a lot of these companies that are struggling with the faster iterative way of development is what is happening in the current market. So towards that, if you do not have a DevOps practice or a easy way of doing it, it is going to take a lot of time. And we have seen some of the customers went into production without proper fixes, or they have rolled back those fixes that were not supposed to be in production but was only for towards the testing areas. So the version control mechanism was not in place, and they had faced very heavy issues of losses, the data, and also a lot of problems. So we are solving their problem by making sure what is supposed to go into the production is going in, and they have a rollback plan, they have a testing plan, all of that. So we saved a lot, and we have at least five new customers that we have gained, and probably close to about $500,000 to $1 million revenues that was generated from this particular practice in the initial phases. So we are now taking it up as a cookie cutter process, and can able to scale to a huge line of segment. Okay, that started off, and it will go to a huge round of it. And the other area in the data engineering practice that we have started off with, that was a big game changer, where we have placed in about 50 to 60 resources just by giving a homegrown solution and putting that into the implementation. As initially we started off a POC, we gave the demo, we have made sure that they have in line with it, and then they have taken to the next level with 50 resources that fully implementing. So this has given us about almost like $4 to $5 million of revenue in that data engineering with AI ML practice that we have implemented with them. So these are the two use cases that I will say that has grown, other than the existing practices that we have gone and organically that we have grown. So overall, in the last 2 years, we have gone from 70 people to almost like 400 people resources just in the new acquisition that we had, that is Motivity Labs.
And this Modivity Labs, where are most of these customers from which geography?
So yeah, they are you most of the clientele from our software engineering practice is generated from North American region, predominantly the US. I would say 80% to 85% was generated from there. From the last quarter or 2 quarters, since I have moved to India, and I'm focusing to generate more and more revenues from local uh, partners or local this ones, and also the government. We are pitching, and we are taking a lot of tenders and participating in them, and we will see the revenue growth in that line, especially within the USP, unique sellable product of ours, or technology of ours, or a cookie cutter of ours. Whatever we are trying to focus in that area. We are participating in a lot of RFPs to provide a solution to digitize some of their existing practices that they are manually doing. It could be somewhere around from 10 crores to 30 crores projects that we are trying to participate in, and from anywhere from 3 months to a year of execution period is what we are focusing a lot on. So I would say Motivity and the entire software development and engineering practice is what we are focusing also in both Motivity Labs and in the Cloud Magellanic by itself. Wherever the government tenders come in and you have to have a pre-qualification of the financial, we are participating as an Cloud or other avenues. If not, we are participating from Motivity Labs.
Okay, thank you. So now let's come to the second segment, the e-surveillance. So if you can take us through some of the solutions and their use cases in e-surveillance, and what is the traction again amongst the intended customer base?
Sure, absolutely. So, in the e-surveillance, it's not just e-surveillance that I will call it as now. We are taking to the next level in much more advanced level to than e-surveillance. I call it as now an business intelligence based on video. Video analytics is what we can call it as. Uh, Security surveillance is one part of it. Then you are doing compliances. It could be an RBI regulation compliances or any other compliances of the business compliances. It could be. Then the third one is intelligence. How can you make a better way of putting it to and ability to make decisions based on what it is. So I'll give you some of the use cases and examples, both in security, how we are advancing in security. Second one is how we are advancing in the compliances and how we are advancing in the business intelligence of the video based. So what I call it is this entire gamut is computer vision algorithms or models that we create on. So the simple example is like facial recognition system. And simple examples is one person coming into the ATM machine and trying to for theft attempt or destroying or vandalism, loitering. All these are the use cases that we avoid from the security perspective. We use how much time that this person is there, and he should not be there more than this time, this much of time. And we either give them two-way audio saying that you should not be here more than this. If you have problems, you call so and so. That is the kind of security use case. And we are almost there at 20,000 sites, and we are growing to be at 25,000 sites by end of October, I would say, because we have yet to be implemented in 3,000 to 5,000 sites, where we are aggressively pushing our implementations. Apart from that, so the next level of use cases are the compliances. What are the compliances that we are trying to fix or figure it out? There are RBI regulations in a bank or a branch wherein they should not be operating beyond a certain hours or 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. Then the bank should be closed. Then you have a inside vault. There should be only two people that trying to get something from it. And at a cash counter or a replenishment, there has to be two people monitoring and watching. To one is counting up, one is getting the cash, and it has to be locked or closed. And while the customer counter is also blocked or given an indication that we are replenishing the cash. So there are a lot of these compliances, and then what is the next level of things? Is the advanced features that we can give and tell. Some of those are how many people have walked in from morning till evening, and what is the peak time of people that are there at the counter. And if it is overcrowded, let's say end of the month, what is the maximum capacity that you have? What should you do? Immediately alert people. And the other use cases of the advanced business intelligence is FRS, that is connected to your HNIs, high net worth individuals. As soon as they walk in, what are you going to do? You need to alert the branch manager so that he will come, greet, and take him to his cabin or whatsoever, discuss what he can sell. That is the intelligence. And also the monthly intelligence of how the branch is performing. How many customers have you served? What is the volume of it? So that the branch can scale their staff, increase, decrease, or add a new branch closer to that, or what is the potential of opportunity in that line or in that area? What are the types of customers? So that is what we have implemented, given, and use cases to ICICI Bank already, um, which is running at FRS with the HNI running on 100 branches. There is this analytics running also on close to 200 branches in ICICI Bank. And the rest of the use cases, we are implementing these, carrying it out, making sure that we are advancing these technologies with a advanced way to avoid or to prevent more and more benefit, and give the benefit to the branch or to the banks. And we have also done detail level in the warehouses also. Some of the examples to the quantity of inventory that they have, rice bags or cotton or any kind of thing, and you will be able to count how much quantity that you have. And the quality also, if you are taking it through a camera based sensors, we will let you know that what is the quality of this grade, if you have given or trained the model. So we have trained the rice grains model so that they can tell what is the quality of the material that is coming in, the food material that's coming. So that kind of advanced level of models that we are creating and generating, and we could do potentially reap these advantages in the future.
Thank you. So you are talking about a lot of these intelligent insights, and if I may say, a lot of predictive analysis are being also done out of these insights. So my just one question is, uh, I say example you had given, but in other similar cases or even in the warehouses, when you are generating lot of insights, then obviously you are assimilating and analyzing a lot of data are also being created, and there these organizations will have other enterprise applications performing other functions also. So for you to gain insight, there has to be a proper integration with those existing applications. So how are you managing that challenge?
Yeah, so there are definitely have to be a lot of integrations. Just say, for example, you have taken a very good way of asking it. For example, the HNI customers list, we are not going to get the data for that, right? So the bank has to maintain its data protection, privacy, whatsoever, and they cannot just give that to us, the data to us, and us putting the process. No. So what we did is, so for that data, they are supposed to collect all the analytics or the videos of the customer, the pictures, the whatever the triggering points. So we said, okay, we are going to give you an API that can sit on top of the data, and it is yours, your data. You would be doing things, and our API is provided to be able to integrate. And then we are going to call them as soon as somebody walks in. For everything, we are going to call their API, and we are going to get the result, and we are not having to have that. And there is always an integration that needs to be with, let's say, if we have to queue incidents with their help desk system or something of that. we have a data pointers where we exchange, and that is the integration cost that we are going to add on top of the product services product cost, and not much of a hassle, because all of these are very standard. APIs are being opened or put in, or we get a proprietary, if there is a proprietary application from it, we will ask the API that they have to give it us, and we just replace. And we have an adapter. We do not want to build solution or replace the solution. We create adapters. So we create these adapters where we can just hook it up with, let's say, ServiceNow, or let's say some other help desk system, and we just install that adapter for that particular customer. So the adapters will be sitting on their side, and we will be calling them to get the data or to pass the data for them. That's how we are integrating.
Okay. And lastly, on the e-surveillance part also, you mentioned ICSA. Any other customers, especially in India, that you have already deployed?
Oh yeah, we, as I was telling, right, there are 20,000 sites that we already have. SBI predominantly is the largest customer of ours, with about 40% of our sites are with them. We have Punjab National Bank, we have Canara Bank, Jammu and Kashmir, Bank of Maharashtra, we have ICICI. We are going to get a few more Indian bank that we have got the recent past. And also we are at jewelry stores, Titan jewelry stores, Malabar. Then we have Go Downs, Go Green, Arya, and a lot of other. Also, we are at Adani Power, solar power. We are monitoring their system through our. So there are a lot of use cases that we are expanding, and these are all the different types of customers that we have, and we are scaling at large and very aggressive. The way that we have changed our model of implementation, we used to do only 600 sites per month. We have scaled that to 5 times, like 3,000 site, 150 per day. Usually, if I look at the calculation, it was supposed to be done at 600 at 20 days, let's say we take. So 30 was the per day installations or production capacity that we used to have. Now it has gone from 30 to 150, and that is the scale that I wanted to bring it, and able to push very hard and scale aggressively in that way.
Okay, thanks. Also, for the e-surveillance part, as you mentioned, e-surveillance and drones together would be about 200 crore of the business, because 250 crore was Motivity Labs. So, out of this 200 crore, how much would be coming from the e-surveillance?
Right now, about 140 is what we are the current revenue from the surveillance. 140, 150. We are about to grow exponentially this year, probably close to 200 to 220 is what we are going to touch in the financial year 23-24 in the surveillance. In the drone, it was very minimal. I would say probably 10 crores at this point of time, between the services and only one or the major manufacturing that we have supplied so far. That too in the demo based drones that we have supplied. It is not fully executable at the commercial level, because we have yet to get our DGCA certificate and licensing for our drones. We can do the demos, but we cannot actually do supply the commercial drones at this point of time. So that's why we are waiting, and we should be able to grow our conservative numbers for the next financial year, or this financial year is somewhere around 200 crores to 500 crores is the conservative number. but we can grow up to a 2,500 crores if all the orders materialize that we have with army, with commercial way of having it under each of that, based on the DG certification that we get, how soon we can get and whatnot.
So, what are the sort of go-to-market initiatives or strategies you mentioned, both for Motivity Labs as for e-surveillance? How do you reach out to these customers? You talked about government, you talked about BFSI. So, how do you reach out? What are the strategies?
So initially, when I started off with Motivity, I there was no marketing pre-sales team or sales engine at all. So I have started off that uh, marketing, which is basically whatever we do, we should be able to publish in the digital presence. We got a lot of LinkedIn and followers. That strategy that we kicked off in the showcasing our strengths. Then the pre-sales, we were able to have about 15 people in the pre-sales to be able to uh, knock the doors, do the digital strategy planning wherever there is startups or big companies that wanted to float for software development or some of that category. So there's new startup that, let's say, gets in a investor. Immediately what that means is they will spend that money to advance their technology. They are going to spend millions of dollars to advance. So we tap to those kind of potential opportunities, both offshore, onshore, and be able to scale it that way, tap them, give them the cookie cutter MVP immediately that they could see the result, and money back guarantees that we are giving in the initial phases. That is how we were able to penetrate and strategies to go there. And obviously, if we have to scale and scale fast, we have to have homegrown frameworks and utilities that we can reuse them, which is proprietary for our own internal usages. And that can be easily explained to the customers. If you are coming up with a project, new project, there are ABCs that needs to be there in every project, be it security wise, be use user management, logins, and all of that, authentication, authorizations, and menus that you need to be able to dynamically, and who should have these accesses, and do you need a mobile app? If it is mobile app, how fast that we can build the API, what frameworks, all of that is customized, and we have solutions for everything. So the faster that you give, then it's easy for the customers. Oh, meaning I'm getting the much added value ahead of time, and it's not that I'm starting from scratch. So that is how we have built in, and we are able to gain a lot of customers like this, potential customers like this. And then the organic marketing sales engine that is going on, and referrals that we have been getting, and we have been putting existing customers, we are putting a account manager to harvest, to grow the account much better, much, meaning there is $100 million gain. How do you gain it? People focus on new customers and new things, but also there is a lot of opportunity if you are able to give a quality and deliver them ahead of time, and putting in the processes without having to jeopardize your quality of deliveries. If it goes into production, you're not rolling back multiple times. So that is where we predominantly focus, and was able to expand from, I will give you 4 or 5 examples of that. From one two resources, we were able to get to 30 resources. From 7 resources, we were able to get to 100 resources in the same account. prior to the us getting in, prior to me acquiring Motivity Labs, for example, they were not able to penetrate and grow that account at all. I have a different strategy. I give some resources for free initially because they can give a lot of output. There is so many of different strategies that I put in, and this is where I am very proud that I have been able to gain out of my experiences, was able to push hard and grow, scale these services. And that is on
Okay.
the software side of it. And I wanted to give on the e-surveillance scaling and whatsoever, right? I'll give one example of how I was able to. I will not take specific name of that particular company, but overall, um, we were given only 1,500 sites as a PO, and they have given that assignment to others also to be able to deploy. And with the way that we have implemented the faster scaling, the pace that I was able to explain, right? Now I know, and they have verbal commitment that they can give another 1,000 sites because we were able to implement fast, 5 times multiplied. So they said, if you can deliver within the 10 days, the way that you are delivering now, I will give you weekly 100 new sites for you to implement. So that is the opportunity that people do not understand, that we were able to gain and go on.
That's interesting. So we will conclude with the you mentioned about the drone. You are waiting for the certification, and then you can go for commercial level deployment. That is one, and how the Motivity Labs you plan to grow. But other than that, any other key focus areas for the next few quarters that you would like to highlight?
Sure. I will tell you what the different companies of the segments that we have. In the software development and the cycle, we have Motivity Labs, we have JNIT Technologies. Those are the two companies. And in the surveillance, that recent acquisition that we had was IVIS and Provigil, with the two companies combined that we have acquired for 300 crores. And then in the drone sector, uh, we have acquired, meaning in the manufacturing, as a scan drone is the other companies. So these put together is our ecosystem of multiple segments that we have. Apart from that, meaning in the drone specifically, I can give you what is the future that we are looking at, what are the potential opportunities that we have, and once we get the DGCA licensing, what are we going to do next in the drone segment. And then I'll come back what I am doing way beyond these segments, which is into the semiconductor, into the other uh, 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 future forward technology areas that I am looking at getting into, and how I will establish first, and then how I will get that company into the Magellanic Cloud ecosystem. I will explain a little bit there. So on the drone side of it, the way that I'm trying to get is, once we get the DGCA, we have aligned with at least three different other companies that are trying to be, meaning we do not want to be an operator, I would say, of these services. We wanted to supply, train, coach them, and provide the operating capabilities to them. Um, in lines in that, we have just today opened up our new office in Bangalore. That is a command and control center where we give the customer the first level of training. They have to sit there along with us for a month, 2 months, of how to fly a particular operated drone for remotely sitting in a remote place and operating the drones, 25 drones, 100 drones, that each of them can take it. One of the major vendor or a person or a company that we have tied up with is Critica Log. What they are specialized is in critical logistics that they they transport from one city to the other or within the intracity, that are very, very crucial, high value component or organ, whatever it could be. They have presence in almost like 190 cities, with each city having at least five hubs of there from point to point. So that brings in, that means that their need is, the potential opportunity for us is about 500 crores worth of drones that we may have to supply. So at each state, each city, they could be taking about from anywhere from 5 drones to 20 drones to 40 drones or 50 drones. The busier places like Bangalore, Delhi, or other places, that's where it is. The way that they operate or we operate is that we have to take permissions about the route, and then because it's a hub to hub, it's not that we are delivering directly to the end customer. From airport, let's say they have to deliver to Navi Mumbai or Chowpatty or some other place, they will have a hub, and at the last mile there will be either two wheeler or emergency ambulance that comes in and picks it up, that particular uh, delivery, and do that last mile. This they are avoiding, and critical log is predominantly focusing on anything that is needed within a 1 hour of SLA to within 24 hours. They will not take any orders that is more than 24 hour of delivery. And critical log also gives or provides services to all the other different companies, Blue Dart or FedEx or anybody that is needed within that TAT, 1 hour to 24 hours. So they are the service provider. And also they are the service provider for the warehouses. Some of the warehouses that they keep the products of a big high value, be it a Dell, like let's say their server components, which is like lakhs of rupees of component, instead of having them at the data center, one data center, they will have this in this warehouse where they can deliver this to any data center within like 40 data centers or 50 data centers. So that way, their inventory cost is very low. Their way of delivery, that they don't have to do that. So that is one example. Um, and then Rolex watches, that they tie up with a lot of big companies, wherein they some customer has chosen a particular Rolex watch which is not in their store, but they will get it from this warehouse and ship it to the nearest location of hub. From there, they deliver to the customer. So this is what is essentially what this company is. And we are tied up with another company. I'm not going to name that, but these are for like Swiggy's, Zomatos, and all of that. That they have to deliver either food, their critical supplies, and they're also wanted to do a ad to the nearest site, far away locations as well. Like if you have a best food at Secunderabad, let's say I'm taking Hyderabad, which is 25 kilometers away, and you wanted that to be delivered here within the shorter period of time. If you go by road, it takes about 2 hours. So that is the area of things. There is a lot of use cases that we are running it, that needs thousands and thousands of drones, that we have the potential capabilities of. Uh, and also we are making a ton or tons of load capacity that it can carry. That can be a use case for, let's say, critical situations from the marine ships that comes in. Before it gets to unloaded, it takes about few days to a week to get shipment to dock, then unload and put a delivery into the container. And if there is any critical components that are needed, can be carried from ship that is waiting. It can get from 5 kilometers to your dock, get your clearance, move out shipment. So that is the use case. ONGC use case wherein they have to deliver the heavy driller machinery components that are needed that failed. Those are the use cases. There are a lot of use cases for the cargo routes.
Okay. What I would like also is see many of the segments that you mentioned. We can probably associate together because we do these outreach campaigns through events, through digital mode, and a 360 mode. So communities like government includes the smart cities, the water, sanitation, agriculture, different kind of urban planning departments. Then in BFSI, we deal with the banks. Then a lot of manufacturing organizations. Then hospitals. So we can have these outreach campaigns. I would like to share details with you, and then we can look at associating in some of these outreach campaigns. These are normally in the form of events, but also other 360-degree mode of medium.
Sure, absolutely. I think I definitely wanted to associate and get into that kind of outreach campaigning, and that will give a lot of vibe and also be able to solve the business problems that can get efficiency out of it with the technology. And I predominantly want to be in the technology space and progressive things with it.
Sure. Thanks.
Great speaking to you.
Sure.
Yeah,
Thank you.
bye, Jignesh.